sorry,
She wearing Dr.
357B
Evil's
evidence.
outfit?
Thank you.
I can just tell you the basic
Yes.
facts. Is like it was private for days after I filed. You did not have to file. That's not a move that the other party has to make.
Okay.
And it's just not.
Okay.
And you did.
Okay.
Well, your team did.
Okay.
And then within 5 minutes, it was in T&Z. You just do the math yourself without any other thing, and it's very clear.
Okay.
And I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't know that, and if that's the case, I'll acknowledge it. You know, and if you say you have proof, then I'll acknowledge it. Look, it doesn't shock me that any fucking
It seems to make sense.
attorney would do something like that. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't shock me. But I'm telling you now, if they file the fucking papers tomorrow, which means the shit I gotta file before we go to court on Friday. If they file those papers, it's first of all, it's very bad for both of us. Okay.
Well, he's going to file anything that they think is bad for you. Trust me.
No, you're what you're saying. You got to do something to protect yourself, which means throwing me under the bus for some.
It's gonna be bad for you. Damn.
Not me. I have to respond. Legally, meaning I'll have to go and pursue the. No, I have to pursue the whole course of action, because here's what you don't understand. If we do this, and basically, no, because I called my lawyers and I said, why aren't we negotiating more? What is going on? Where are we? And they're like, everything is in their court.
Why is he never screaming on the
phone? They won't
phone?
settle. Your agents won't. Your lawyers won't settle, baby. I'm telling you.
No, we want to mediate. We even have we even found mediators and everything. Like that was all worked out. The thing that Laura didn't agree to was she did not want to agree to a mutual gag order. And that's the problem, that she doesn't want the gag order. Why, Johnny? Why? Why wouldn't she? Why wouldn't she want both parties to not talk about this in the press? By the way, just talking about the press, not even talking about the court.
Okay,
Why?
I'll tell you what, Amber, let me get on that right now. I'll fucking get on it right now. And I'll get a message back to you somehow. Just, you know, but I'll get on it right now.
I just want you to know I'm not doing anything and have not been doing any moves. Like, look it up, the timeline. Nothing was on the offense. Everything's been a defensive move because I'm being called a liar and a gold digger. And I'm not lying about any of this shit. And I am not after a dime of your money. And
she recorded this. Keep in mind.
Do you remember when you had this discussion?
Again,
with Mr.
that's whenever she gets aggressive about it.
When was that?
I believe that was June of 2016. So after the divorce.
That's why she's getting defensive. It's like because people are talking about her.
And
remember,
what, if
she doesn't
anything,
care
was
about her
going on with
reputation.
respect to a gag order at that point.
Gag orders
Objection
where you
calls
can't
for
talk about stuff.
speculation.
I'm asking.
It's also a talent for warriors.
Overruled. Good. I was trying to get Johnny to stop the smear campaign. That he
Objection,
launched.
Your Honor. Hearsay. Lack of foundation.
What, if any, discussion did you have with him about a smear campaign?
Johnny told me that he would ruin me, that no one would ever touch me, meaning professionally, no one would ever work with me again, that I'd never work again, that I'd be selling Depends, is what he said. And that he'd ruin my
Because of
career.
the poop!
And he refused to not engage with. Up until that point, he refused to not engage with the press by.
Oh my God!
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for speculation.
I'll believe that.
This is what he's
Wow.
telling her, correct?
Right.
Okay. All right. I'll
She's gonna be selling Depends.
And up until that point, I was trying to, get him to call the dogs off, call it off, because it was forcing me into a position where he was calling me a liar, and he was forcing me to prove it. and I knew that wasn't going to be good for him. And I kept saying, don't make me prove it. I don't want to. But he was calling me a liar and having a really sophisticated, very, very well-paid, very sophisticated PR machine.
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for speculation.
I'll sustain the objection.
I'll move on. Let's go to Depp exhibit, that's Plaintiff's Exhibit 357C. That's 12:30 to 16:30. I'm going to move the admission.
Any objection?
Ain't no objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, 357C.
All right, let's see it.
All right. Michelle, if you complain.
Selling depends.
It's not about that. It would not be about.
Bro, that's cold. Oh my
it
God.
It would be released through documented people coming on the record and having the protection to do so that haven't had yet. It would be eyewitness statements. It would be evidence, tons of it, and it would be through years. And it would be unbelievable to imagine that either I'm in A, secret fake club, or B, I've had
A secret what?
I've had a secret fight club, or that I have been plotting to do this for 3 years, and while taking pictures of it and documenting it, just saving it up for the right time when I'm not asking for any money and have nothing financial to gain from it. But no one is going to believe that. No one is going to believe that one of the two alternatives, either I'm in a fight club, or I've been going through hair and makeup, or going through makeup through all these years, where I have corroborating text messages between people that match those dates of those timestamp validated photos of either corroboration between people hearing us, or corroboration of next day, Whitney sending text message to Kevin, him responding.
You don't talk about Fight Club.
Or, the kind of stuff like between me and people in your life. It is insanely cross-corroborated then if it is a plan. I'm going to put makeup on myself and take pictures throughout years and just sit on it for years. While having this imaginary life run parallel to it. You understand that the pictures I have match with text messages to my mom back and forth about it, and text messages between, say, Raquel and my mom, or Raquel and my dad, or, between my two friends. Or there's a text message where I tell Jody the night before I had that James Corden night show thing, where I say, hey, Jody, I've had an accident. I think I have a busted lip, I may have a busted nose and 2 black eyes tomorrow, because I don't know how bad it will be until the.
But we saw the pictures.
But I don't know how. I'm icing it. I just I'll let you know in the morning.
She laid it on.
And
Yeah.
things like that. It doesn't matter. There is nothing there. Nothing. And all of that won't be me throwing you in the spot.
Remember, she recorded this.
In this.
She recorded this.
Hey, it will be criminal as well, because I cannot go on Friday and file without filing a police statement first. And the only reason I haven't filed that police statement, which has been used against me by
Johnny
the way,
recorded this one?
And the only reason I won't do it, I haven't done it, is because I don't want to hurt you, and that means it goes out of my hands. And the third party prosecutor comes, and a criminal lawyer come, and they went, the problem is, hearing from you, your biggest struggle is that it's the most solid evidence case of domestic violence I've ever seen, and if you give this over to them or present any part of it, they will prosecute him. And I felt like I would.
It's the most solid ever.
I would never want that for you. It's hard for me to even understand. I don't call myself in my head, it's hard for me to even accept any sort of victimdom ever.
Can you please explain what the context of this was?
Yeah, what is this? What is this?
I was begging Johnny to not make me prove what I've had to sit on this stand in front of all of you and prove and talk about. I was begging not to do this and have to sit where I'm sitting today. I didn't want this. I don't want to be here. I didn't want to be there then. And I was trying to point out something to somebody who I thought did not have a firm grasp on reality.
Objection calls for speculation.
Overruled. Good.
Thank you.
I was trying to point out how absurd it would be for him to keep making me prove this by calling me a liar. I was trying to get him to not call me a liar because everything that I had said to date and everything I've said to date now is the truth. And I was begging him not to make me prove it, that there were photos, that there were witnesses, that there was my testimony. There were years of me with injuries on the dates where we were fighting, and they were documented. I mean, pictures from 2012. So I was trying to say to him, either you'd suppose that people would rather believe this is a hoax, elaborate, well-orchestrated, year-long campaign for what?
Yeah.
Or that, what? It just seemed crazy. And I thought no one was advising him in his best interest. I thought no one was telling him the truth.
Pretty much about it.
I know he's surrounded by yes men, and I thought nobody was saying to Johnny, this is crazy, don't do this. And I didn't want to hurt him. I didn't want to hurt him. I loved him so much.
I gotta write some of this stuff down.
That's why I'm explaining to him why I didn't file criminal charges. I didn't file a police report, even though it was being used against me. I didn't want this to go to a prosecutor. I didn't want this to hurt Johnny. I don't want this to hurt Johnny.
Michelle, can you bring up Depp Exhibit 357D as in David? And that is 17:25 to 17:37. I'm going to move the admission, Your Honor.
Here we
All right,
go.
any
No objection.
All right. In evidence, 357D.
Depp unfazed? No, because he's bullshit.
Liar.
Baby.
And I've been called
Baby.
a gold digger.
Baby.
Everyone is.
Baby. Amber, I didn't call you those things. I didn't call you those things.
Baby.
I'm going to go on now to, can we go to Plaintiff's Exhibit 357E?
Pat, thanks for 5 steps.
And this is 21:47 to 22:37.
So she's mad at him. She's mad at him
I'm gonna
because
move
of
the
something that
admission, Your
people
Honor.
said in the
Objection.
No
press.
objection.
357E. Thank you.
And you're stronger. And so when I say that I thought you could kill me, that doesn't mean you counter with you also, that you lost your own finger. I am not trying to attack you here. I'm just trying to point out the fact of why I said call 911. Because you had your hands on me, I was using the phone in my face, and I had gotten crazy in the past, and I truly thought I need to stop.
Where'd that finger go? I can't believe you just lost it.
Oh my God.
And I never think about myself that way. I never defend myself that way. I never see myself as a victim. It's your fault, you know?
All right. Yeah.
And I, when they came, I did not cooperate with them. It has been used against me, not by the media, by your side.
And what are you referring to there?
That I don't want to call myself a victim. I don't like to think of myself as a victim, and I don't want him to think I'm attacking him or blaming him. I'm pointing out I didn't cooperate with the police, that I didn't want to get him in trouble, that I didn't want to hurt him. I don't want anything from him. Just don't call me a liar. It's all I said. Just don't call me a liar.
What you call me? But you called him an
Don't say
abuser.
This isn't real. Because I'm the walking proof of it.
Oh, if what you said was real, you wouldn't be walking.
To bring up Plaintiff's Exhibit, Depp Exhibit 357F as in Frank, 24:04 to 24:48, and move the admission.
All right, any objection?
No objection.
All right,
Let's
357.
be honest.
have said only this from the very
Here we go.
beginning. I only have my integrity. And the unfortunate thing is
What about mine?
They take it a step further.
What about mine?
They keep taking, that's what it keeps, I'm trying to say to you, literally in words. I'm out of my mouth, that's what I'm trying to say to you. Every step of the way, I have said to them, the thing is, they're hurting Johnny by this, because every time that they call me a liar, or they say this is not true, or Steven says this text message did not actually happen, or that of your security guards, which by the way was a follow-up to your security guard thing they never saw abuse happening. The same security guards who, by the way, have said to me multiple times that I was going to get killed.
Where's the evidence of that? The security guard saying you were going to get
What are you
killed?
talking about there, Amber?
Where is that?
Even though Johnny told me that his guards would say whatever he needed them to say, that they were the same guards who had told me that I would lose my life
Objection, Your
this
Honor.
way.
Hearsay.
All right, sustained objection.
It came in through the tape, so that's all right. We're fine. Let's go, Michelle.
Your
let's
Honor.
go to
If we could approach, please.
I'm sorry.
Here we go. Time out. I want you guys to notice the fact that, like, you know, a lot of this is, like, what is she really upset about? She's upset about her integrity getting ruined. When is she getting emotional in here? I'll talk about this more.
Can you bring up Depp Exhibit
It's all about her
357G?
fucking ego. Like, that's it.
357G, and it's 26:00 to 26:28.
That's when she gets emotional.
Oh, move the admission. I'm sorry.
All right, any objection?
No objection.
So don't call me a liar. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, obviously, they're going to have to say they didn't see it in front of me and other people that have heard them.
You're gonna have to do this under oath too, you know.
I will, because the unfortunate part is, I can talk about all of this.
Do you believe all this, Amber? Do you believe all this?
Oh, yeah, the stuff that, yes.
You believe I'm an abuser. You believe I'm an abuser.
In May, in December, in April.
What were you referring to with the May, December, and April?
Just listing some of the times in which he beat me up and that he knew about.
So I'm going to take you now, fast forward into the July 2016 timeframe. There was a mediation that came about during that time. What, if any, intent did you have to reconcile with Mr. Depp at the time of the mediation?
Okay, here we go.
I wanted there to be no animosity. I wanted to minimize the animosity. I wanted to reconcile in that way. I didn't want to get back together with him, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay. Can you just briefly describe what transpired during the July mediation?
Even though I had a TRO and I wanted to move on with my life, the campaign I mentioned earlier, the smear campaign, the article after article, the
one that you wrote,
leaking fake.
Objection, Your Honor. Non-responsive.
She wrote the
Sustain
article.
the objection. Okay.
Please explain.
But
What I was meeting with him about is because he had, put these things out in the media. It seemed like every day
Objection,
there
Your
was a new
Honor.
attack.
Calls for speculation, lack of foundation.
All right.
Did Mr. Depp discuss with you that he was putting these out in the media?
Objection, leading.
Overruled, I'll allow it.
Yes.
Okay, please explain.
this is smart.
He
Yeah,
told me
right.
he would tell his team to back off and to back off effectively if I agreed to do certain things. One of which, there was, he wanted me to, drop charges. He wanted, or some version of that. He wanted me to get back together with him and go on tour with him in the tour bus. He wanted me to do certain things that I thought were impossible and that would definitely go against all of everything that I stood for and had earned in getting my TRO, getting my restraining order and moving on. But I had to break the TRO in order to beg him to stop the machine, the press machine, because I was feeling like I couldn't live my life. I was being dropped from commercial opportunities. People were turning on me. A campaign I shot dropped me. I mean, it was just, I had never been inundated with that much press. Every single day, me and my family were, and every witness, anyone who even indirectly supported me got bombarded. And the media
Objection,
campaigns,
calls for speculation.
Well,
Lack
that's
of
pretty much
foundation.
true.
I'll
I
stay
mean,
just the last part of that, all right?
yeah, that's pretty much
Next
true.
question.
Okay. We heard Christian Carino testify earlier. Can you describe to the jury what your relationship is and was with Christian Carino?
Okay.
he was my commercial agent, meaning he handled things like campaigns for a short amount of time, and then became Johnny's agent around the time of the divorce. He was a kind of mutual friend at the time between Johnny and I, and so he helped us kind of negotiate or mediate a time where we could meet, and my goal in that was to just beg Johnny to stop doing this.
Objection, non-responsive.
Overruled. That's right.
What, if any, desire did you have to return to Mr. Depp after the divorce?
None.
Nope.
Now, you heard Mr. White testify that he engaged in negotiations with you during the settlement process of the divorce. What, if any, discussions did you have with Mr. White?
None. The first time I saw him was on the testimony screen in the UK during the UK trial. I've never spoken to him.
So he didn't negotiate your settlement?
No, he did not.
What was
Okay.
important to you in the divorce negotiations?
Being right in the eyes of the public.
The statement. That was it.
Yeah.
The statement. I wanted a mutual statement, and I wanted him to call get the press out of this. Just make a statement.
That he was wrong and you were right.
In that statement, clear my name. I wanted to clear my name. It's all I have.
Yep.
I said this to him too, and he knew this. All I have is my name. I come from nothing. All I have is my integrity. All I have is my name. And that's exactly what he promised to take from me.
Why
What were
did
you gonna
agree
do? What were
accept
you gonna
$7
take from
million
him?
as your settlement?
I didn't care about the money. I was told if I didn't agree to a number, that it could be overturned. That this would never it would never get completed, would never settle.
Objection.
What about
It would
his?
overturn.
What was your
Sustained, go ahead.
What was your understanding?
Yeah, why is he not in
If I
Pirates of
didn't
the
agree
Caribbean then?
to a number, it would be
Oh, that
overturned.
happened.
So I took
That's
far
weird.
less than what they were offering and what I was entitled to.
And why did you donate it to charity?
You didn't.
I promised the entirety of it to charity because I was never interested in Johnny's money.
But
And in the divorce, I just wanted my safety. I wanted to move on from my life. I wanted my future. And then he started compromising that, calling me a liar, making it impossible for me to move on by doing so. So then I wanted the truth. I wanted him to clear my name and to leave me alone. I've been saying that since 2016.
So why did you donate 3.5 to Children's Hospital and 3.5 to ACLU?
Well, I pledged the first half, or 3.5, to Children's Hospital because I'd been working there as a volunteer for
Didn't this
well
not
over
happen?
a decade.
she
I
well, she
knew the facility
pledged
well.
it.
I'd worked there with another
She didn't give it.
nonprofit is how I got
She
affiliated
pledged
with
it.
them, and I knew they could use the resources. I was familiar with it. And
What about the ACLU?
She didn't do it.
and then ACLU because I was a supporter, because I believed in the work they were doing. I believed that they were doing good work for people who
She
deserved it.
donated it like 3 weeks ago.
Why did you make the donations over a period of time as opposed to just a lump sum?
Two reasons. The short of it is because I was receiving the settlement in installments. I was receiving the installments over time. Second of all, so I could get the tax benefit of paying overtime. It's my understanding that's how you pay these large sums. You pay it over time.
That's true. She's right.
Did you make any payments towards these donations?
I did.
Okay. Approximately how much?
I allowed for the first installment, which is $100,000 to each. That came straight from Johnny in 2016. I followed up with $350,000 that year, 2016. 2018, I did another. Oh, and I also donated to $250,000 to Art of Elysium, which is the affiliate I was just speaking about, that does the work in the Children's Hospital. It was not going to count towards my overall pledge, but
we're going to look into this during the break.
And then I did another donation to each in 2018. And then Johnny.
She didn't mention the amount. It's probably because it was very small.
Before we get to that,
she would have mentioned the amount if it wasn't.
Did anyone make donations to the Children's Hospital or ACLU on your behalf?
Oh, this is the Elon thing.
Yes, Elon also, Elon, who was my boyfriend at the time, had his own charitable contributions that he made. He made $500,000 to both in my honor, in my name, in 2017, I believe.
And have you completely fulfilled your donations to the ACLU and the
That's Rocket Man.
Children's Hospital?
Yeah.
I have not yet.
And why not?
Because Johnny sued me for $50 million in March of 2019, and I have spent over $6 million.
Objection, Your Honor. This is a motion in limine.
Shouldn't have written the article, huh?
One should come forward.
Shouldn't have gone and done that article. Ain't that really something? So she hasn't done it. No, the thing is, like, I understand that. Yeah, sure. But, like, it still should be noted very, very clear and plainly that that's the case. Yeah, she spent $6 million already. I would believe that. Yeah, sure. I mean, absolutely. Man, it's like... I really, like, obviously they're not going to get Elon Musk on the stand here, but, like, I really wish that, like, just for, like, 5 minutes, like, just to get, like, what is his perspective on, like, this whole thing, you know? Like, what is this? Yeah, what would it possibly be? She got sued in 2019. She had years to pay the pledge and didn't. What a load of horse shit. Well, it's because she hadn't won the case. I think it's very obvious, right? Is that she probably doesn't have a lot of money. Like, it's not like she's like she has like hundreds. She doesn't have hundreds of millions of dollars. So, like, being sued for $50 million is a lot of money. So I think that she just wanted to keep the money for herself. That's what it was. She's going to go donate the $6 million away, but she didn't do that. Didn't happen.
Then,
yeah.
Could you afford to continue making payments to the ACLU and Children's Hospital?
No.
Okay. What, if any, intention do you have to fulfill your pledges and donations to these organizations?
I still fully intend to honor all of my pledges.
You can't write a blank
I would love for him
check.
to stop suing me so I can.
What, if any, deadlines are there on your pledges and donations to the ACLU or the Children's Hospital?
There are none. They understand.
Okay.
Of course they would understand.
Now, let's.
I don't like
go
how
to
she said
Defendant's
that,
Exhibit
because the implication of how she
1458,
said
which
it was
is
that they
already
shared her
admitted.
point of view and they sympathized with her. I don't like that. That was misleading.
Now, I'm going to just direct your attention to paragraph 27, where it says, neither party has made false accusations for financial gain. There was never any intent of physical or emotional harm.
Okay.
Amber wishes the best for Johnny in the future. What, if any, significance did that have to you?
That was everything to me. That was the most important thing in the separation agreement between us, is that he acknowledged that I hadn't made a single false claim, that my allegations were not false.
Not a single one?
Just because he signed his name to it, he'd honor it. I mean, he signed his name to it, and I thought it would mean something.
Talk about a blank
He
check.
acknowledges that I never did it. I mean, I never made a false claim, and I didn't do it for financial gain. And that's what I was being called at the time, a gold digger and a liar.
Emphasizing again on the
We can take this
ego.
down, Michelle, and I'm going to now take you to
Yep.
post-divorce and your
Okay,
career.
here
Please
we go.
describe for the jury how your career evolved after the divorce, which I think was final in February 2017.
Definitely as a gold digger. I don't know.
I had to fight really hard to keep my career. After I got my TRO, I lost opportunities. I got canceled from jobs. I got dropped from campaign I'd shot. I was told I was going to be dropped from.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Oh.
Sustained objection.
I fought to keep my job in a movie the biggest movie opportunity I had
Is this
to
Aquaman?
date.
Which was what?
It was Justice League with the option to become Aquaman. It later became Aquaman, but I had to fight really hard to stay even in Justice League because that was right around the time of the divorce.
Right.
Can you tell the jury what Justice League was and what your role was in that?
It was
It is a
not as good as
superhero,
the Marvel movies.
franchise, DC action
Besides
film.
Aquaman.
And
Because of
it
Jason
introduced
Momoa,
my
not you.
character, and it provided the base for the Aquaman spinoff that followed it, but that was not a reality at the time of shooting Justice League.
All right. And then you were able to be an Aquaman, is that correct?
Yes, I kind of showed up to work months early and stayed really late to fight to keep the job. I managed to keep it, and managed slowly to kind of to gain through this kind of hard work and goodwill I was able to foster. I was able to keep and make other jobs, and eventually made a movie called Aquaman, and Aquaman was very successful. I think it was the most successful DC film
It should have been.
by its release, and I was getting my career back, even though it was, it took a major hit when I got my restraining order against Johnny.
So let's talk about Aquaman for a moment.
Okay, here we
I
go.
think you said it was the highest grossing film of DC films, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. When did that come out?
December of 2018.
Well, sent for Amber that started suits a couple years ago.
And what was your role
Yeah,
in
of course you
Aquaman?
do.
I play Mira.
And was that a lead role?
Yes, it is one of the leading roles. It's the female lead opposite Jason Momoa's character of Aquaman.
So you were his mate?
You could say that, yes. I was his love interest, the female. I was the female lead of the movie.
Okay. So in December of 2018, as Aquaman's coming out, why did you agree to participate in the op-ed?
Well, because I believed
Agreed
in some
to
of
participate
the causes that
in.
the op-ed was seeking to advance. There was a lot of attention and energy around gender-based issues, gender-based violence issues in general.
Trying to catch
I had just
the
recently
trend.
become an ambassador for the ACLU. I was proud of that ambassadorship, and I was looking forward to the opportunity to lend my voice to what I thought was a great cause, which is just a conversation around women's issues and gendered issues that I think
that's
the whole
why.
country was having at that time.
Not to clear your
quite
name.
a political conversation and
That you
cultural
so
conversation
desperately
at the time,
wanted.
and I was happy to lend my voice if I could.
I'm
Who drafted
sure.
the first draft of the op-ed?
The ACLU.
Did you initially want to include Mr. Depp by name or reference?
No.
What were you trying to accomplish by the op-ed?
What about the second draft?
I was trying to raise awareness
The final
around
draft.
some of the issues that I just mentioned.
What about that?
There was some legislative reform, Title IX being one of them, and there was just a greater cultural conversation being
Johnny, thanks for 10
had
cents.
around gender issues.
True.
And I was happy to weigh in on what I saw as the unique phenomena that women and typically women experience in our culture when they come forward against somebody more powerful, when they speak up about gender-based violence. And
Okay.
I thought I could lend my voice to that conversation. I thought I had something to say about that.
Were you trying to boost your sales for Aquaman since it was coming out in that same time frame?
No, she's trying to boost her own credibility.
It doesn't work like that. I don't think any.
Yeah, she's
op-ed,
just trying to boost her own
I mean,
credibility.
a major motion picture or major franchise like that
That's
is
all.
not aided by the publication of an op-ed in the Washington Post.
She already got paid for
I'll put it that
Aquaman.
way.
Why the fuck
but
would
the other
she
way
care?
around can be said. You know, I was wanting to lend my name at that specific time to potentially advance the causes within the op-ed.
Absolutely.
Because of your success as Mira with Aquaman?
Yeah, just the
65 cents,
publicity
yeah.
of the movie and the
Thank you.
success of the movie would hopefully, in best case scenario, only add and lend itself would lend attention to the issues that the op-ed aimed to address.
What did you do
It's a fucking
once
article.
the ACLU had your agreement to be the
not gonna do anything.
spokesperson for the op-ed, to put your name to it?
I sought the advice of my attorney.
And why did you do that?
Hi, Izzy.
Because I didn't want to get into any sort of legal issue. I didn't want to have any sort of legal problems for talking about what happens to women or people when they come forward and speak about these sorts of issues, especially when they come forward against someone more powerful than them. And
here we
that
go.
backlash, the retaliation that people face when they come forward is exactly what I was writing about. And I didn't want Johnny to retaliate against me and quite literally prove my point.
And
So
so who was the counsel that you hired to review the op-ed?
Oh my God.
His name was Eric George.
Where is he located?
I'm about
Los
to
Angeles,
pop
California.
off.
How did you know Eric George?
I'm getting ready to pop off.
Eric George is the attorney who represented me in a different litigation against the producers of London Fields, the movie I mentioned earlier about
Yeah.
having a body double and sex scene that I didn't approve of.
What was your understanding of Eric George's experience and skills to be able to review that op-ed for you in the context of your concerns?
Objection, speculation.
I'm asking her understanding.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Did you have knowledge of Eric George's abilities at that time?
I did. I thought he had an excellent reputation and would give me great advice.
Okay.
And what, if any, experience? What was your experience with him in representing you earlier?
I thought he was a fantastic attorney, very smart, and I trusted him.
Without going into the content of it, what, if any, of Eric George's advice did you follow in the context of the op-ed?
I took all of his advice. I made all the edits he suggested. I took all of his advice.
And what, if any, of Eric George's advice did you ignore?
None.
Okay.
He's my lawyer. I listened to him.
Okay. I'm going to ask you if we can pull up, Michelle, Plaintiff's Exhibit 1. Now, this is the online version of the op-ed, and it has this title, Amber Heard, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change. What, if any, role did you play in this title?
None.
What, if any, role, to your knowledge, did the ACLU play in this title?
None to my knowledge.
Oh, it just happened. That's
Are
crazy.
these exact words anywhere in the article?
No.
It just showed up
No,
here.
they're not.
When did you
Where did
first
this
become
come from?
aware of this title being included in the online version of the op-ed?
I think in this litigation is the first time I realized that.
Wow.
I'm going to now ask, Michelle, can you bring up Plaintiff's Exhibit 2? And this has also already been admitted into evidence, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. A transformative moment for women.
This is the paper version, if you will, of the Washington Post with your editorial. And if you go to the second page, this one has a title, A Transformative Moment for Women. What, if any, role did you play in that title?
I didn't.
Okay.
None.
Okay.
Do you recall seeing this version, the newspaper version, at the time?
Yes, this is the version I saw. I'm very proud of it. I had it framed.
You had the newspaper version, not the online?
I did. I had the newspaper framed.
Okay. And now I'm going to ask you to turn to, and Michelle, can we pull up plaintiff's exhibit number 3?
Okay. Oh, I've got I wrote this down so I don't forget about it.
And do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm going to move to admit plaintiff's exhibit number 3 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, 3 in evidence. You can
If we can
publish.
publish it to the jury.
All right, let's see it.
Now, is it fair to say this is a tweet?
Yes, it is.
That is fair.
And can you explain to the jury what a tweet is for those who are not as social media oriented?
A tweet is a posting on a social media network called Twitter.
Okay.
Okay. Now, did you send this tweet?
I think so. I must have.
Okay. And what,
Oh.
if any, control did you have over whether the title given to the op-ed online was included in the tweet?
You don't have control when you're retweeting something. It's my experience that you don't control a title when you're retweeting something. You don't get a chance to re-editorialize someone else's title.
That's true.
And at the time you sent this tweet, do you remember even noticing that title?
I do not. I don't think I even.
Yeah, it's her article. Why would she notice the title on it?
Have you ever typed the words from that title?
No, I have not.
Now, I'm going
Why
to
are they
ask you, let's go
specifying
back to
type?
number
Is it because
2,
it was
plaintiff's
decided on the
2.
phone? Why would you type that?
And I'm
Why would
going
you
to
say
go-
that? Why would you make that
I'm going to ask
clarification?
you,
To avoid perjury, maybe?
what if
I don't know.
anything
I find
in
that
this
interesting.
op-ed was incorrect?
Nothing. Every word of it is true.
And I'm going to direct your attention specifically, and if we can blow this up just a touch,
It's not a retweet, though?
and move up just a touch, Michelle, if you can, so we get to then 2 years ago. Then 2 years ago,
I'll get
I
to it.
became a public figure representing domestic abuse, and I felt the full force of our culture's wrath for women who speak out. Was this true or false?
It's true.
What, if anything, did you do about speaking up about domestic abuse 2 years earlier?
Well, I went and got a restraining order against my then husband and walked out to a sea of media and endured to that point 2 years of vitriol from the media and from Johnny Depp supporters in retaliation for having done so.
And I guess you're really answering my next question, which is, and I felt the full force of our culture's wrath for women who speak out. Is that what you were
What a
referring
bunch
to?
of
for
horse
that
shit
next?
that is.
Yes, because at the time, I thought it couldn't be worse. Obviously now from where I sit today, no, it gets a lot worse.
And then, Michelle, if we can move this up a little bit further.
Bunch of horse shit. Yeah, like, what the fuck are you talking
Well,
about?
actually, that's perfect, Michelle. Then I don't have to use my purple again. Then you said,
Oh, my
I had the
God.
rare vantage point of seeing in real time how institutions protect men accused of abuse. Is this true or false?
True.
Okay, and explain to me what you meant by that and how that was true for you.
I got a restraining order. I had to prove to a judge that I needed one. I had a bruise on my face. I got a restraining order. I showed pictures.
So
I
that
had
means he's getting protected?
proof, and yet everyone, the media, the studios that both Johnny and I worked for, they were ready to support him. They made statements in support of him. They were ready to fire me.
Objection,
They
Your
attempted
Honor.
to fire
So
me.
because
Hearsay.
All right, let's
they
see
didn't
the
assume
objection.
that he was guilty, they're protecting him?
What, if anything, did you
What?
Witness with respect to institutions?
Meaning the people that we work for, the institutions we work for, the studios we work for, decision makers in my industry, filmmakers and powerful people and decision makers within my industry whom I had not ever even met, who didn't know anything about what happened behind closed doors in the marriage of Johnny and I, were making comments about me, statements about me. I was dropped from campaigns. It was hard for me to work. I was harassed. I'm harassed on a daily basis, death threats, and just the fact that wasn't, there was no parody. You know, the studio.
You probably retweet stuff without reading what you're retweeting.
These decision makers and such were so ready to support him and eager to.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection.
Right. So what if
Well, I've got a
any
lot
ill
to say.
will or bad intentions did you
Well, I've got a lot
have
to say.
or intend against Mr. Depp by assisting in writing, giving your name to this op-ed?
Assisting in
and publishing
writing.
None. It's not about Johnny. The only one who thought it was about Johnny is Johnny. It's about me. It's about what happened to me after
It's not about Johnny?
It's
Then
about
why'd
what
you just
happened to
use
me
him as an
after
example?
I escaped my marriage. It was about me.
Your marriage
and my
with who?
life and what I endured once I moved on and got a TRO and moved on with my life. It was about what happened to me after. The only one who made it about him, ironically, is Johnny.
She just said.
I'm going to, we can take that down, Michelle. I'm going to turn to something about electronics and transparency. You've testified about, and we've seen photographs and audio recordings and
Are you kidding?
text messages, emails, etc.
How do you say
What, if
that?
anything, have you done to cooperate in the authentication of all of these things?
Objection, Your Honor. May we approach?
Sure.
So she retweeted the online version. And if she retweeted the online version because she's not talking about the print version, I'm assuming, then she would have known what the title is and it wouldn't have been changed retroactively by the retweet
I'm going
link.
to turn to your counterclaim.
That wouldn't have
made
happened.
A counterclaim against Mr. Depp in this case, correct?
That's correct.
And it's based on 3 statements that Mr. Adam Waldman, Mr. Depp's attorney, made, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to ask
You can't retweet a
if you
paper?
can pull up
Yeah.
Defendant's Exhibit 245.
Yeah, when was the time of the
But, Your Honor, I'm
retweet?
going to
When did this
ask-
happen?
Do we have
It's already in evidence.
Your Honor, if we may approach
Okay,
just real
sure.
quickly, because I think we can move this along.
Yeah, it's
faster
not about
if we
John.
do
Yeah,
this
how
ahead
is
of
this
time.
not about him? Like, it's like at that point is like you have to be aware of it. At some point, your PR would have at least made you aware of what you retweeted. Well, like she also didn't make a clarifying statement. Like, for example, like remember how Blizzard had like that stupid diversity chart thing, and then everybody got mad about it. Then Blizzard made a statement the day after, and they said this isn't what we were trying to do. That like this isn't what we meant. So like she never even, and like no, she said that she made the tweet. It's not like she had a publicist that's running her account that made the tweet. She said she made the tweet. So I think what really would determine it to me is when did the tweet happen? Like how do you not even look at the link of the article that you posted? Like how do you not know what the title is of the article that you posted? You see what I'm saying? Like, how is this even possible? And also, like, even if that's true, she literally said in the article that she felt the wrath of people whenever you speak up against this and that they protect people in institutions of power. And then she explicitly used the restraining order against Johnny Depp. And then she has the audacity to say that the article wasn't even about him. How can anybody be so stupid to even believe any of this? This is unreal. Like, yeah, she said Johnny Depp supporters. Yeah, exactly. Like, I just can't believe it. They're claiming the title isn't hers, so the financial loss from the article is not on her. Yeah, but you don't even, the title could be Amber Heard's personal story, and it would still implicate Johnny Depp. Like, what do you think happens? It's like, I use this example, right? It's like, so let's say she, for this case, let's say she shits on the floor in the bathroom in the company office. And then the boss brings everybody into the conference room the next day and he says, we have a surprise. We're going to have a seminar about bathroom cleanliness and bathroom hygiene. Well, everybody knows why. It's because somebody shit on the floor. They're not going to say that, maybe not necessarily, not going to say in writing, like, hey, somebody's shit on the floor, we've got to talk about this. No, because they're a little bit above that. So they're going to talk about, well, we just need to have a conversation about hygiene here, because obviously it's bad. Yeah, true, exactly. So, like, everybody knows what this is. Everybody knows what's going on. Like, it's so intellectually dishonest to claim otherwise.
Okay,
It's
we're going to
ridiculous.
start by bringing up defendants 1245.
All right.
Hers,
Moving on to
she
evidence,
used
no
on
objection,
Twitter. She gave
1245 in evidence.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I got more to say.
And this is an article that was in the Daily Mail
Okay.
on 8 April 2020. You see that? And then, Michelle, if you can move that to the next page, and perfect. It says, Adam Waldman, Depp's lawyer, said afterwards, Amber Heard and her friends in the media used fake sexual violence allegations as both a sword and a shield, depending on their needs. They have selected some of her sexual violence hoax facts as the sword, inflicting them on the public and Mr. Depp. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Is this a true or a false statement?
True.
False.
True.
And why is it false?
Because you're lying.
You don't have to use
And it's true.
to use what I've lived through and what I've survived, calling it fake, saying that I'm harming Johnny with this, I'm harming the public with this. This is what I've lived through, and to say that it's a hoax, that these aren't even real things.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's pretty much it.
after everything I've
Ego
lived
is
through
being
and
attacked.
survived, and also I hadn't even spoken about
She
the
survived.
sexual abuse within my marriage. I have been protected.
What are we doing here? Why are we doing this shit? Why are we doing this shit? What is this? Does this happen to anybody else?
Of that.
Oh, there
you
we
want
go.
to talk about that ever? Adam
What the fuck?
Waldman was the one who put that out in the world. As remarkable as that is, I protected that. I had to go to another country to give testimony, and thankfully they allowed me to do so with confidentiality and some protection. And then Johnny, through his lawyer, not only uses that against me, but says it's a hoax.
Well, no shit. Well, obviously that's what you
Now I'm
did.
going to ask if we can bring up, and it's going to be 1246A.
I'm going to refresh right now.
And I think I'm moving this
All
into
right.
evidence
And
as well.
There's no objections.
Is this on me or on them?
Evidence. You can publish.
And this is an article that was
It's on them?
published
Okay.
on the 28th of April, 2020. And Michelle, if we can, thank you.
What is
And this one says, Depp's lawyer, Adam Waldman, said, quite simply, this was an ambush, a
Okay.
hoax. They set Mr. Depp up
Bro, this shit's crazy. Like, what is this? Like, why is it like
by
this?
calling the cops. But the first attempt
Okay, here
didn't
we
do
go.
the trick, he told dailymail.com. And let's keep going.
Okay. Is the Black Ops cyber team to shut me down? Yeah, true.
So Amber and her friends spilled a little wine and roughed the place up, got their story straight under the direction of a lawyer and a publicist, and then placed a second call to 911. Do you see that?
Damn, he's just
Yes.
calling it
That's true or
out.
false?
Couldn't be more false.
Holy shit.
And why is that?
Every part of it is false. I didn't call 911. I didn't call the police.
Yeah.
I refused to cooperate with them to protect Johnny. I protected Johnny.
No, you didn't.
I
You
didn't
did it
call them
because that's
once
what
and
the
I
lawyer
didn't call
told
them
you.
twice. I didn't rough up the place. I cleaned up the place. I didn't even know the second cops were coming. If I wanted to get something from him, if I wanted to hoax Johnny, why wouldn't I cooperate with the police? Wouldn't I say something to the police? Wouldn't I do more damage to the house and than just knock over the things that you saw pictures of? It makes no sense. And to do it online when there's no fact checking, there's no authorities, there's no one able to, I can't respond. I can't fight this and use these sorts of media leaks and these comments to re-echo over and over and over again online with a network of people that are intent on helping Johnny through a sophisticated PR machine.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay, speculation.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
She mad.
All right, and so what in fact did you do that night?
I cleaned up. I protected Johnny.
Yeah.
I refused to cooperate with the police, like so many other people do. I tried really hard to keep it private, even after that, even when I was committed to filing for a divorce.
Because that's what he said after.
I tried to protect Johnny. I tried to protect the history of what we had. I tried to protect him.
Yeah.
And did the opposite. And I didn't even have a lawyer. I didn't call my publicist. I called my contract attorney to get me another lawyer who could give me advice on how to protect Johnny. Every bit of this was to protect Johnny and to protect the secret that I had fought really hard to keep.
She's trying so hard to protect him. Like, why?
That behind closed doors, things were not what it looked like.
See if this is using a lot of memory.
Michelle, can you take this one down and go to defendants 1247?
I might have to close this a minute and see if I can fix it that way.
All right. I know there's no objection. 1247 in evidence.
Wait, I got the task manager out. It got afraid and started working.
This is another a Mail Online, and this is published on.
Yeah, see, it's not that shit happened. It's
on
like, wait up, I
June
don't mean to do that. I'm not trying to make me.
And then if we can go further, and this one says, Depp's attorney, Adam Waldman, said, "We have reached the beginning of the end of Ms. Heard's abuse hoax against Johnny Depp."
True.
Is this true or false?
True.
False.
Nope, true.
And why is it false?
Because, unfortunately...
Because it's not going to end. We're going to keep doing
it. And what I mentioned earlier about how preposterous it would have to be for this to be this elaborate hoax, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't fathom one day that would actually be legitimately the position that he, through a lawyer, would take, albeit online, where he could get away with it for some time.
Objection. Calls for speculation.
Sustain the objection.
She's mad about those comments online. She does not like them.
Because Johnny and I lived this. We lived through this. I lived through this, and I narrowly survived it. But I survived it.
Just barely.
And,
I have fucking barely.
Mountains of evidence, mountains of proof, and yet it won't be good enough for people who are seeking to make money off of Johnny's success.
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for speculation.
I'll sustain the objection.
That's fine. Okay. So
survive the Elden Lord, exactly.
The damages that you've suffered as a result of these statements by Mr. Waldman on Mr. Depp's behalf. Please tell the jury how you were doing reputation.
Objection. That's a legal conclusion, Your Honor.
I'm sorry.
We move to strike counsel's testimony.
Come forward.
Oh, here we go. All right, they're gonna have to go into this shit. Well, here's the thing, right? Is like to show Rihanna photo. I'm not gonna show the Rihanna photo. Like, you guys can look it up. If you guys want to see the Rihanna photo, look up Rihanna after she got beat the fuck out of her with Chris Brown. Like, you're gonna see somebody that actually had to endure domestic abuse, someone that actually barely survived. Like, that's the thing. Is like, it's just not striking record. Yeah. YouTube's lagging. Yeah. YouTube's lagging.
From the record, we'll disregard that question.
I don't know why that's happening.
Next question.
What was your understanding of on whose behalf Mr. Waldman was making those three statements?
Objection. Lack of foundation. Calls for speculation.
If you want to approach again, that's not what we
here
just
we
said
go.
here.
Yep. And like you can tell, she's like, whenever she really gets like emotional and upset, it's whenever she talks about the influence that it's like people talking about it about her. I feel like she put that article out after Aquaman came out, so she could kind of clear her name and hopefully start over. That's my opinion.
We'll move forward to my other question here. How were you? Please tell the jury, how were you doing reputationally before these 3 statements were made? Beginning April 2020. April 8 was the first of them.
Objection, Your Honor. I'm going to object on lack of foundation.
She can talk about her reputation.
Overruled, I'll allow.
It took hard work. It took a lot of hard work on my part, but I was able to work, get my life back on track. I was taking care of myself emotionally. My career, I was working really hard. I was able to star in a major success. I worked on a TV series that I had been attached to for a very long time. I became an ambassador for several nonprofits that I deeply care about. I was doing a lot of really, it felt really good to be doing the social work and the charity work that I was doing. And I was also filming and working and planning on.
Do you guys want me to restart?
I was awaiting a schedule from.
Do you guys want me to restart or what?
For Aquaman 2, the sequel. And I had wrapped on that TV series.
Because I heard it was everybody else.
I was waiting to start doing publicity.
Yeah,
for
bad
it.
lag. They're saying it's lag.
And
There's lag with the phone. It's not me. Yeah, the chat's saying it's not me.
Campaign as a spokesperson for a major beauty brand. So things were,
Okay.
The trajectory was positive.
So how did things change after these statements were made?
I remember around the time, unfortunately, I lost my mother on the 1st of April. And I remember it was when I was grieving her that I got a call that I should be expecting a script for my role in Aquaman 2.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
It's not offered to prove the truth.
Overruled.
Go ahead.
So I was waiting a schedule and a script for that. Feeling concerned that I wouldn't have enough time to grieve before having to get back into work. I had a press schedule to promote the TV series I was doing.
It would suck.
And I was shooting things for this beauty brand, and then.
No, I can understand that, absolutely.
I remember at that time the beauty brand had to suspend posting what I just shot for them because they were getting bombarded.
Objection, Your Honor. This is hearsay.
Sustain the objection.
I would assume that it's true.
They said no. I mean, they suspended what I had shot.
Objection, Your Honor.
Were you actively involved in campaigns for L'Oreal before these articles?
I was.
Were you actively involved in campaigns with L'Oreal after these articles?
No.
Were you with The Stand? You were talking about the TV series. That was The Stand, correct?
Yes, the TV series that I had already completed.
All right.
Okay.
And were you actively involved in publicity for The Stand prior to these articles?
Yes, I was.
Were you actively involved in the publicity after these articles?
No, shoots were canceled. Things were canceled.
So that was it. That was done.
With respect to Aquaman 1, Aquaman 2, you'd already starred in Aquaman 1, right? Just so and they called it Aquaman at that time, but now there's an Aquaman 2, just right for.
That's correct.
Okay. So were you actively scheduling timing for filming and scripts for Aquaman 2 before these articles?
Yes, I was.
Were you actively scheduling after these articles?
No, the communications stopped at that point.
All right. I'm going to, Michelle, can you bring up Defendant's Exhibit 1258?
Yeah, so that was it. That was done. They were done about that. Yeah, exactly. The petition worked. Yeah.
I'm going to show you what has been.
I hope they're able to fix it.
As Defendants Exhibit 1258.
I'd hate to see everybody that worked on the
September
movie
21, 2015.
lose money just because of her.
Do you recognize this document?
That would suck.
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
It is the Justice League Aquaman contract.
Okay, Your Honor, I'm going to move the admission of Defendants Exhibit 1258.
Any objection?
Yes, Your Honor. May we approach?
Sure. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yep, here we go. She's only in it for supposedly for like 10 minutes. Yeah, it's like, it's whatever. It is what it is. They just do reshoots. They can remove her if need be. I think that's fine, right? I just, as I said before, it just sucks. Like, because, like, I thought Aquaman 1 was a good movie. I did. I actually thought it was a good movie. And it would suck to see, like, all the people, not just the actors, right? But you got to remember, like, there's people that fucking, you know, they run, like, the set. They, like, deal with costumes, makeup, and, like, sound, and all of this shit, right? It's like all of those people all get fucked because of her, you know? Like, that's disappointing, man. It is. Yeah, it's fucking disappointing. You did it for Grindelwald so they can do it for Mara? I mean, that's actually true, though. I mean, yeah, you're right about that, for sure. All right, let's see here. Let's see here, and what's this here? 1 second. Aquaman was terrible. Well, I don't know. They get paid. Yeah, I just hope they do. Did you watch the movie after the head bruising incident you referred to earlier? I don't know. Actually, I have no idea whenever the movie came out. But yeah, I thought Aquaman 1 was good. I did. I thought the movie was good. Yeah, I mean, sure. Union contracts are robust. That's a good point. She's out of Aquaman 2. I think she's like only in it, people say, for like 5 or 10 minutes. I'm not really sure yet. When's cross-examination? I don't know. What's really terrible about the case is Amber really has a point. She could get punished for talking about the abuse. The trial under general craziness will put a taint on women doing the same and make it even harder for abuse victims. Well, yeah, obviously so. I mean, it's like, the thing is, whenever, like, for example, like, whenever Rihanna came out about the thing for Chris Brown, nobody was getting mad at Rihanna. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's getting mad at her.
So, Amber, can you explain to me how the contract structure was for Justice League
okay, here we
and
go.
options? Just explain to the jury, please.
It's structured like a 3-picture option. I signed on to do Justice League, where my character was introduced. The fee is, you know, small relative to what it will become if and when you do the other options or movies in that under that umbrella.
Okay.
So it was the contract for Justice League, which could then become Justice League 2, or it could be Aquaman, or it could be some other movie within the DC universe. And the second picture ended up being Aquaman.
Okay.
And then the third picture, Aquaman 2. Each time the fee goes up, but...
Objection, Your Honor. This calls for speculation, lack of foundation.
Overruled out loud.
As far as the contract is concerned, that's what the contract says.
DLC, Aquaman 2.
And if we go to page 6...
I don't give a fuck about Justice League 2, unless it's the Zack Snyder one.
So what was your fee going to be for Aquaman? And what was it for Aquaman?
It made $10 million.
1 million.
Okay, then was there also
I thought
box
it was 10.
office bonuses, opportunities?
Yes, I believe.
Okay.
Yes, there are
Okay.
box office bonuses. If it makes a certain amount in the box office, you get a bonus.
Okay. And it
That's
says
not that
picture
much.
number 2. At the time you entered into the contract and with on Justice League, did they know what the picture would be?
No, as I mentioned before, when you do the contract...
Objection calls for speculation.
All right, I'll sustain that objection.
Okay. So ultimately, what was picture number 2?
Aquaman.
All right.
This is Justice
And
League
then,
and Aquaman. I get that.
What was it for picture number 3?
It hadn't happened. The
Aquaman
Aquaman 2,
2.
yeah.
Okay. And what was the fee under the option agreement at that time?
2 million.
Okay. Now, did you have contracts with L'Oreal?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Okay. And Can you just describe for the jury what was involved with L'Oreal? You talked about being involved in campaigns and then not. Just explain that to them if you can.
All right, let's
As a
hear it.
spokesperson, I'm just involved with the brand as a representative, and a certain amount of commitment you have to do throughout the year on social media and on red carpets promoting various products or causes they're advancing. Generally, it's just like a brand ambassadorship.
It's a hashtag ad.
And did you, let's pull up 1262. And this is dated as of April 25, 2018, correct?
That's correct.
Was that your first contract with L'Oreal?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Okay, how much did she
And
get?
was that for a term, a specific term?
Yes, it was.
Okay, was it for 2 years?
Yes, it says 2-year contract, and that sounds right.
Okay, how much?
All
How
right,
much?
and
I want to
then
know.
I'm going to ask you to turn to 1264,
How many money?
and that's April 20, 2020. And what, if anything, did L'Oreal do
$3.
with regard to extending your contract then?
They extended it. They chose to extend it with the option to kind of.
All right, and did they extend it just an additional 3 months?
Okay.
If you
That,
look at paragraph 1.
let's see.
50 million. I'm curious. I am.
Yes,
I'm
they did.
curious.
Okay, and what, if any, work did you do for L'Oreal after these 3 statements were made?
I have only been able to participate in, I believe, one live event that they also couldn't promote or use the material from because of.
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for speculation.
Because of you.
Sustain the objection.
Okay. Now let's go to 1265.
Yeah. Because of why, I wonder.
And this is, as of November 15, 2021, this is another extension with L'Oreal, correct?
She was paid in defense.
Yes, it is.
And if you look at the second option term under
Spokesperson
paragraph
for
1,
depends.
it's an extension of 20 months, is that correct?
Oh my God.
That is correct.
Okay. And what, if any, work have you been able to do for L'Oreal since this contract?
As I stated, I believe I've only done one in-person event with them, and they couldn't use the material.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, let's talk about the stand for a minute.
L'Oreal,
Let's
that we
pull
don't
up
get pirates? Can't compare that?
1263.
Yeah.
And this is dated July 3, 2019.
Okay, here we
And I
go.
believe you indicated that you had already filmed it by the time these statements were made in April and June of 2020. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And what, if any, marketing opportunities were you participating in prior to those articles?
We had appearances, talk show, press, the normal kind of group cast press junket, promotional material,
Commercials
photo
for
shoot.
diapers. Oh no.
And I was, I had various publicity engagements lined up, like a magazine cover, that sort of thing, to promote the film. To promote the series.
And what, if anything, were you able to do with marketing opportunities after the 3 articles were published?
None.
What, if any, covers were you on after that for the stand?
They pulled the offer for that, so none.
Okay. And while we're on this agreement, if you look at the second page, how much were you paid for the stand? It's at 6C. $200,000.
Oh, $200,000 an episode.
Okay. Now let's
That's
pull
it?
up Defendant's Exhibit 1266.
That's it?
Have you been able to get any work since that time?
I have done one small independent film.
Okay. And tell the
Okay.
jury what that is.
I shot a film in Guatemala. It's a small independent. meaning it doesn't have distribution or, it doesn't have distribution or anything. It's a lower budget film that I had been attached to for many years called Into the Fire.
Okay. And
Okay.
1266 has, as of January 13, 2022. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. When did you actually film for this in Guatemala?
March. I believe it was March of this year.
Okay. And do you recall what your compensation was for that?
Oh,
I don't off the top of my head. I'm
If you
sorry.
can look at ALH 17628.
okay, here we go. I want to know.
It's paragraph 6A.
Yeah?
65,000.
Okay. And have you participated in Aquaman 2?
That's not a lot.
I have.
And tell us about that.
That is not a lot at all.
I
Fell
had to
off?
fight
Yeah.
I fought really hard to stay in the movie. They
Okay, here we go.
didn't want to include me in the film.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection.
Fuck yeah, I'm going to see Aquaman
Were you
2.
ultimately able to get to film in Aquaman 2?
Uh-huh.
A very pared down version of that role, yes.
Okay. What, if anything, changed in the script?
They took away a lot of...
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
I think she can
Lack of foundation.
Overruled as to the script.
Yeah, I want to know.
I was given a script and then given new versions of the script that had taken away scenes that
Smart.
that had action in it, that depicted my character and another character, without giving any spoilers away. They're two characters fighting with one another, and
Uh-huh.
they basically took a bunch out of my role. They just removed a bunch out.
And what, if any, leverage did you have to negotiate a higher salary beyond the $2 million?
Objection, speculation.
Leverage is...
sustain the objection.
Yeah,
What, if any,
leverage is
effort
obviously
did
speculation.
you make to negotiate a higher salary for your participation?
Okay, yeah, there's a fight in the movie, guys. It's
renegotiate
spoiled.
my contract.
And why not?
Objection, this calls for hearsay and speculation.
Do you know why?
Still the same objections, Your Honor.
I'll sustain the objection.
Yeah, I can't believe that shit happened. They removed their character's violent acts.
All right.
Oh, I won't make that joke.
Amber, I'm going to ask you to describe to this jury the emotional impact
It's
on
because they're
you
paying her for acting. She wouldn't
of
even need to
these
act,
three
so why would they pay her?
statements that we have talked about, these three counterclaim statements. Please describe how this has impacted you.
These statements are used over and over and over and over again.
Here we go.
Online to reverberate, re-echo, and re-energize.
Objection, Your Honor, this is not responsive. Lack of foundation.
Yeah, a
And
little
hearsay.
bit.
She gets to give her consent for it.
Well, the question was your emotional impact of these statements.
Okay.
Well, obviously upset her.
Impact it has on me is every time I look at it, which is every day. I am set back. I have to relive it. I have to have the worst, most painful things I've ever gone through, painful memories I've ever had,
Why'd you write the
things
article?
I've narrowly survived at times, embarrassing, intimate details that I never wanted
But you wrote the article.
to be known, never wanted to be public ever, and to have them used every single day to call me a liar. I have to relive this every single day that I have to address those claims over and over
And
again.
what about
the most
him?
intimate, embarrassing, deeply humiliating, and personal things that I've survived are used against me every day,
Yep.
over and over again. It's torture. I'm in so much pain emotionally. I just wanted him to leave me alone. I wanted to move on with my life. And he won't let me. By making statements like this, he won't let me. I have to be here today. I have to
You made the article.
Reliving it every single time. He, with these statements, with these leaks, these comments, once again, makes me have to speak to the most horrifying things I have lived through. It's torture. It's torturous. Why don't you have to do that? I want to move on with my life. I have a baby. I want to move on. I want to move on. I want Johnny to move on too.
You want him to move on? You want him to clear your name.
Thank you.
That's not what you want.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's probably a good time to go ahead and take our afternoon recess.
Thank
based
God.
On that. So
Okay.
go ahead and do not discuss the case. And,
Thank God. All
don't
right.
Do any outside research, okay? We'll see you in 15 minutes, okay? Thank you.
Okay.
Please, court is still in session. I need it to be quiet in the gallery. Thank you.
She says, shut the fuck up. All right. So she immediately stops crying. Yeah, obviously, right? Like, here's the thing, right? It's like you've got... Well, I'm gonna mute this real quick. Like, you've got a lot of things. I gotta talk about this motherfucking bullshit, right? Is that don't discuss the case with the judge? Yeah, exactly. So, like, here's the thing. Is, like, this is what I think happened, right? And this is my opinion. This is, I don't really know. This is my opinion. I think that she had the movie coming out. She felt like she was getting a lot of clout out of the movie. And she thought that now would be the best time with her, her position in society being elevated because she just has a movie coming out, that she could bring out an article and hopefully clear her name. Now, that's what I think happened. The idea that she had so, like, what's the phrase for, I'm trying to remember, like, what this is. Like, you have it's not right of first refusal. It's something that you have to have that you can ask an editor for or ask any publication for, that you get a chance to see the article before it's written in the exact way that it is written. I forgot exactly what it was meant, but cross time, it's getting pretty close to that, right? The final cut, that's not what it's called, but it's something like that. It's like first proof of read or something like that. So any normal person would usually have this if they're writing an article to make sure that it's not it's not basically editorialized or changed away from what they've written, right? That's basically what I'm trying to say. So she retweeted, and also, like, was this even a retweet to begin with? I don't even fucking know, because let me refresh this. Let's look at the tweet. Where is it here? I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. Where is the tweet? I can't find it anywhere here. What is this? Why is it not working? Yeah, I don't know exactly. So anyway, like, well, what I mean is, like, we don't even know what it exactly was, because, like, I didn't see. I'll just Google it. I think that's a good idea. Amber Heard tweet article. Okay, so let's just see right here. Images. Okay, God damn it, how the fuck am I not able to find this? Like, it's not even here. That's so annoying, man. God fucking damn it. Okay, well, anyway, I should lose $6 million and go direct to us for inconveniencing us with his hearsay. True. Johnny Depp gets his finger cut off. He can buy a gold-plated surgical fingertip attachment with diamond encrustments. Yeah, I guess he can. And let's see here. You have a Windows update. I hate doing Windows updates. The way I look at it is that if I do a Windows update, it can only get worse. That's always been my perspective on things. Let's see if I can find it maybe a little bit farther into here. No, that's just bullshit. Well, anyway, I don't even know for sure if it was a retweet even to begin with, right? Like, that's what I'm really trying to get at, is I don't even have any idea. So you look at this and you see, like, her making a tweet about this. Now, here's what I think happened, okay? I think what happened was that she she wrote the article, and I think that it was very evident and very clear that she was referencing Johnny Depp in the article. She even says that whenever she's explaining what the context behind the article is. Isn't that weird? ACLU wrote it? No, they said that somebody else did the first draft of it, and then they didn't say anything else besides that. So that meant that she actually looked at it until otherwise. And also, they asked if she confirmed it in text what the title was, which implies that what really happened is that it was done over the phone. Like, they kind of talked about it, and they came up with a name that they both agreed on in general, right? And so, is this it? Let me see if I can find this real quick. Real Amber Heard. Okay. So this is the this is the article right here that was written, and so we actually found the tweet itself. Okay, well, that's great. That makes things way fucking easier. Thank you very much. My mods are gods. Today, I published this op-ed in the Washington Post. From college campuses to Congress, we are balancing the scales. So she did not retweet it. That's not even what happened. She just tweeted out that, like, she did this article. That's all there was to it. It's a link. Yeah, she just literally posted a link. And it even says right there, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. So whenever she made this tweet, it was December 19th. When did the article come out? Let me go back and see when the article came out. It came out on December 18th. So if I remember right, so the article was published the next day. So I am assuming that this article came out on 3/28. So the article was probably published on the 19th. So that means that she linked the article at the time that the title for it was incorrect. So you have to either assume that she did literally no fucking, no, what's the word for it? No fact checking here. She didn't even look at the article that she was retweeting, or not even, sorry, retweeting, the article that she was posting, and she just put it out there. She didn't even read the title, even though whenever you include the link, it will automatically fill in what the title for it is. So, like, for example, if I want to make a tweet, it will automatically fill in what that tweet is going to be. Watch, I'll show you. So let's go ahead and we're going to just do twitch.tv/Asmongold. Let's see here. And it automatically fills in. So as you can see, you can immediately know what it is before you even click the tweet button. It automatically fills it. So she's just she's fucking lying. Yeah, she's fucking lying. And it's been like this for years, by the way. Because in 2018, I was also still posting that I was going live. Yes, it was like that in 2018, and I know it for a fact because I've always posted a link on Twitter that I'm going live, and it auto-filled every single time, even then. And it also does it on the mobile app. Let me show you right here. So we're going to go ahead and go on the mobile app, and we're going to look at it, twitch.tv/Asmongold. And so let's go look right here. So it automatically filled in, as you guys can see. It automatically fills it in. This is on mobile, and it's also on it's also on the fucking computer. So facts hurt. Well, the thing is, like, it's always what it's going to be, right? I mean, like, yeah, they just don't know. Where if they update the headline in the first paragraph? I don't know. I think that it probably snapshotted it, and that's why it didn't change. And also, like, this is the original title, right? And so, like, go on Wayback Machine. I can't really deal with that. I'm not sure. How much is Depp's legal team paying me? Not enough. I think that they should. I think that's a much better idea. So let's go back over here. We're going to look at this other stuff, right? So I think any reasonable person, because let's look at the 5 points of defamation. And I don't remember this exactly. Number one for defamation, and like obviously it's not a certainty with this, but like this is generally what it is. Number one is that you have to publish and say that something is untrue, right? So that's number one. Number two is that you have to publish it with malicious intent. I feel like it was very obvious that she was posting this to damage his reputation, and to do it to where it would repair her reputation at the expense of his own. Do you see what I'm saying? And so that's number 2. Number 3, fuck, I have to, somebody fucking, I've got to link it up and see for myself, right? I think those are it's basically the main 2, right? It's like it has to be malicious, it has to be untrue. Oh, they have to be able to prove a loss because of it, right? So it has to have caused tangible impact. And also another one, I remember this now, is that it had to actually be about that person. So like Amber Heard saying, oh, it wasn't about Johnny Depp, I think she's only saying that because she's able to, because that's part of defamation, is she can claim, oh, it wasn't about you, but it very clearly is, because she uses him as an example when referencing each paragraph of the article and how it relates to her. So it was very obvious that it was about Johnny Depp. Like, everybody knows this, that's all there is to it. And on top of that, difficult to prove these? Yeah, exactly. Would you post that link? As a public person, would you post that link without reading it, saying it's yours and saying I agree with everything under that link? I rest my case. I would not. I don't think hardly anybody would. Now, is this an honest mistake? Maybe it is, but I think that she read the article, and obviously she had some form of impact on this article. It's not like it was written and then just put out in her name, because if she didn't have any impact on it, she probably wouldn't have framed it on her wall, because she didn't even do it, so there'd be no sense of personal accomplishment for writing the article in the first place. So I think by the nature of her saying that she put the printed version of it on the on her wall, it would imply that she actually did have a direct relationship with this article, and it was not like a ghostwriter situation. Now, obviously, this is a little bit of assumptions here, but I don't think that I'm wrong. I don't think so at all. And she framed it. Yes, she framed it, and she's framing herself in doing so. So she tweeted the Twitter for Wii U, where she links behave differently, so your argument does not hold. She tweeted from Twitter for Wii U. Yeah, maybe you're right about that. I don't know. Print version on her wall, online version on her Twitter wall. Yeah, exactly. She could be that delusional, though. You are right about that. This trial can set a new precedent for the term defamation. And there's that, too, right? I mean, like, these rules are not always set in stone. And so it's, I think that a lot of cases in this whole case and everything, I feel like the biggest thing that you can tell many times is that whenever she starts to feel like her ego or her position socially is at risk or diminished, that's the main time that she gets emotional. Like that's whenever she's really getting emotional about things. Like that's whenever it really happens. It's not even really during some of the abuse stuff or anything like that. It's whenever her ego is at risk. And I think that's clearly why she posted this article, is that she thought that she'd be able to get out from under this because she had this movie coming out, etc. But yeah, I think clearly what happened was that the article was posted, and then it was posted online, and then the day after it was posted in print with a different title. So the title was clearly changed to, I'm assuming, because the magazine or the newspaper didn't want to be implicated in a defamation lawsuit that they didn't really understand fully. So I think that makes perfect sense. What was the print title? The print title, I honestly don't remember what the print title was. I'd have to look and see for myself. Yeah, I don't know. Go on the internet and check on what histrionic personality disorder is. I'm not sure. If accountability truly didn't belong to her, why isn't she suing Washington Post? That's a really good point. That's actually a really, really good point. Yeah, because like they misrepresented her. That's a very good point. Because like, yeah, basically what they did is they put her in a position, and they made her look bad. You know, defamation's hard to pull off. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think so for sure. But like, you guys see what I'm saying? Is like, you write an article like that, and there's no way it's not going to be about Johnny Depp. Like, everybody knows it. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. That's why Elon bought Twitter. It's full circle. Yeah, I guess so. I think it's kind of funny that like Elon in general, like it's the same with Johnny Depp. Like almost everything that like all the exposed logs and everything like that actually just make them look like good guys. That's what I find to be kind of ironic about all this, is like she literally ghosted Elon, and he still said that he'd have security hired for her because he was worried about her safety. He's being a nice guy. Elon got played hard, though? Not really. He just got in a relationship with a crazy bitch, and it turned out she was crazy, and he moved on. That's the way it goes. Sometimes you have that happen. That's all there is to it. Yeah, it's, you know, he met her somewhere. She's really hot. He's like, all right, this is great. And then he gets to know her better, and it turns out she's crazy. He's like, wait up, hold up, wait a minute, I'm done. I think that seems pretty fucking fair. Like, that's the way it goes. Yeah, Elon and Chad. I feel like anybody that thinks that he's fucking stupid should look at this, right? If you think he's dumb, Elon Musk is dumb. At least he fucking figured this shit out. Yeah, he got the hell out of there. That's a, yeah, good idea, Rocket Man.